Hello! Today we will show you how to use the Melt Deformer in Cinema 4D 2026. First, create a model to be melted. For this, open the asset browser, search for Fir Tree, double-click on the Fir Tree Snowy model, close the asset browser, and adjust the model in the viewport. Then, create a Melt Deformer by clicking and holding on the bend icon and choosing Melt from the pop-up palette. The melt object doesn't have a boundary box, but only a center point. To apply the Melt Deformer to the model, make it a child of the model. When the Melt Deformer is applied, the model melts radially from the center of the melt object and is spread in the horizontal or XZ plane at the vertical level specified by the Y coordinate of the center of the melt object. The center of the melt object should be located at the bottom of the model or below the model, since model parts that are below the XZ plane of the melt object will be cut off. In our case, the center of the melt object is located at the bottom of our model. Therefore, the model melts downwards to its base. Go to the Object tab of the melt object. The strength property here defines how much the model melts. If you set the strength to 0%, there will be no melting. And if you set it to 100%, the model will completely melt. You can also change the strength by dragging the orange handle in the viewport. Let's go back to the default strength value of 25% by right-clicking on the left or right arrow of the input field of strength property. The radius property determines the radius of the circle within which melting will be slower. If you set the radius to 0, the model will completely melt. Go back to the default radius value of 100 centimeters. The vertical randomness property defines the variation in downwards motion, and the radial randomness property defines the variation in outwards motion. By default, they are set to 100%, which is fine for our case. The melted size property determines the final width of the fully melted model relative to its original width. Let's set this property to 500% so that the width of the model increases 5 times after complete melting. The noise scale property sets the irregularity of the surface of the model. In our case, the default 10% is sufficient. Finally, let's animate the strength property of the Melt Deformer to get the melting animation. For this, set the strength to 0 and click on the diamond to the left of the strength to create the first keyframe. Move the time slider to frame 90, set the strength to 100% and click on the diamond to the left of the strength to create the second keyframe. Go to the start of the timeline and press the play forwards button to test the animation. This is what we got after rendering. Thank you for your attention, subscribe to the channel and put your finger up.